Welcome to the Pacific Business Hub.
tau tua ma le au nanga remote tau sa mo service station nei tona i matu. Ma tau te utuina lo ta vale, ma le tele o nisi o matu au nanga i se ese. Ai le ngata hoi le, ma tau te sea ke ina fo i lau ta vale. Siapa lah yang voice wow, mau lau tapan. Afai foi vai vai pa olosa. Awala te pon, ma tu te siapa lah yang foi mau lau tapan. Mo Molo nofo sila fia. Mua, ta pēlau ta avale pe autu. Rua, ta pēlau telefoni i tai me utu ina ilau ta avale. Ma le vaenga mulu. Mana tua fo, e matua i whaasaina, lo tau makutapa ai no fuanga whapeni. Hota Samoa, ore mota mo Samoa. Mado te fia e au na pe mo o Samoa. Maftaile fia mai. We'll see you again. God bless.
Hello everyone, oh my goodness, how are you today and how is your Thursday going? I just wanted to say a massive hello and a warm Pacific greetings to everyone. It's been a while since I've had my, how many days? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 days off, and you're probably wondering, where have you been? Where have you been? Well, it's been a busy week and we've had our team also out and about in Mount Eden, and yes, we've had our team also here at the Pacific Business Hub busy trying to get some things sorted. But I also just wanted to say a massive shout out to our beautiful Ave Maria. We know you are fighting in there, baby girl, so shout out to you, and also prayers to all of our families who are, finding it hard at the moment with whatever you're going through at the moment. So yeah, we've got a special guest for you guys today. That's right. Today we have the awesome, the founder and owner of Digital Discipline, Tony Laulu, raising awareness on social media, technology usage and addiction. On fuelo California, just every single day, then this is the program for you, because I have to admit, I am terrible when it comes to Facebook. I'm always on there. First thing in the morning, it's what I wake up to, and it's the last thing that I see. And I want to change that, and I want you to change that too. So joining us today is the awesome, the brother, Tony Laulu. Tony, malole soifua, and thank you so much for joining us on BluTable Talanoa. Man, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you.
That's good. I know that you've been busy and you've also been out and about. So I'll let you do your intro. Tell our viewers where you come from, the villages, all of the above, because I know everyone's going to be like, oh, that's my cousin. That's my bro, kako Samoa. That's like our famous line. Oh, that's my cuz. It's my cuz. It's my brother.
Yeah, all good. My name's Tony Laulu. I stay out in Takanini. I was born in Samoa, raised in Onehunga. My parents are still there, and they've been there for probably the last 30 plus years. So Samoa's my home, but so is Onehunga. And so, a little bit about me. I got 2 little boys, Sakalia and Lemalia are my sons, and they're 7 and 10 years old. And I'm just grateful to be here and just trying to live life,
Trying to live life without the social media. I think it's a challenge, and that's one of the challenges. You mentioned Sakalia and Lemalie, because now I'm like looking, I get it, that's where the... Let's talk a little bit about the your social media. So you're born in Samoa. Like, what age did you move here to New Zealand?
I was still a baby, really, so obviously can't remember too much. But so that's where I was born. My old man's from Fa'ala in Savai, and my mom's from Moka, which is kind of close to town. So I visit there quite frequently, and you know, that's a place I call home as well as Inehanga. So, you know, it sucks that you know that the borders are closed because it's been a place as of late that you know, I just go back and recharge and refuel and get my spirit and stuff right. So
that is a Samoa. That's, you know, and I'm missing Samoa so much. I you know, I only went back to Samoa as an adult, and it hasn't been because, you know, it's been because I've been pala'ai, and because, you know, financially you can't really afford when you're at that age. But yeah, I do miss Samoa. It is a place, paradise, where you get to recharge. So if you're watching from Samoa, hi everyone. Comment down below if you are struggling with your everyday mobile usage, internet usage. Because I feel like I've topped up 3-4 times a week. So let's get straight into the struggles. Why on earth would you... Like, let's be honest, the internet, social media, I thought, man, it's part of life now. Why would you go and create a platform called Digital Discipline?
Man, it was all by accident.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it by accident. It was God's design that that I went through, you know, an experience, and it was born out of my own addiction, really.
Yeah.
And so you know, when Facebook hit and smartphones first came out, I really got enticed by this piece of technology, and so it was awesome. Like I could be on Messenger, I could you know, catch up on all the rugby highlights and just watch YouTube clip after YouTube clip. There was so many other apps and things on the internet that I could access from this one thing, you know, because before it was like the desktop computer or having to go to the library to use the library computer to use the internet. And so I had this thing now, but I guess over the years after having my first smartphone, I started to realize that that this thing was robbing a lot of my time, my attention, my energy, my sleep, my well-being, and it started to really snowball into something that brought out a really sort of not so healthy side of me. And so yeah, that's kind of the beginning of the end, really. So
because, well, you know, we had an interesting discussion with the team, and they're quite young. The team here are very, very young, and obviously we all work for a digital solution company. So we're sitting there like this on our phones, and then on our laptop, and on our computer. It's all in front of us. And I'm thinking, but it's part of life. But I've been reading through a lot of your work. This device has robbed us because we no longer know what it is that everyone actually is up to physically. So we think, we're like, oh yeah, they're all right. How do you know? Did you catch up? It's like, no, they posted a photo of them at the beach, and we're like, oh, okay. And then that's it. So we're assuming they're okay. And then that's where you've come in to bring, not to be part of the problem, but to bring a solution. And you're putting that positive twist on social media, which I absolutely love, because I love the photo of the apple. Give us a little bit of, because you posted that up I remember that you posted up a few years ago. But that image itself, man. So why did you post that up?
It was just to show like a narrative around some of the behaviors that we have on social media that we sometimes... I mean, the perfect example is when we go out and take photos. Yeah. We don't take one photo anymore. We take 20 minimum because we want to find that perfect one to post that the writing's like. You don't see my double chin. You don't see my mangavas like hanging up. Like it's all that kind of stuff, and we do it subconsciously now because social media is the place to look perfect. Yeah. And so, like you said, we're posting a lot of this stuff with the intent to impress people. Sometimes it's to impress the wrong people, people that we don't even like. And so, you know, what we're doing is we're posting this stuff up to seek validation, to escape from our own issues. And sometimes, you know, that post or that picture in particular is a reflection of you know how probably crappy our lives are, but on the social media, you look like you're having the time of your life.
Yeah.
And so that's the danger with social media. But just to your other point about you guys being a digital company,
Yeah.
like I got no issues with that. I think it's awesome that you guys are doing this.
Yeah.
What we need to be mindful of with it is what you guys are doing is a lot of content creation. And I love creation, like that's innovative. It's you know, there's a lot of thought and energy that goes into it. The other flip side to social media is consumption.
Yeah.
And if all we're doing is consuming social media without adding any value, or you know, we're just sitting there watching what's going on a timeline, then that's where it starts to veer off into something that's probably not productive. But it's crazy because the same laptop and the same device that you have in your hand, it's a double-edged sword, really.
Yeah.
It's the thing that you can gain the most amount of information from and value. It's also the same place you can waste away hours of your life scrolling through nothing. Yeah,
because what we were talking about, because I did raise a point to the team, and I said, sorry, I had to quickly go through my notes. I said to the team, there is one thing that the richest person alive cannot afford. There's one thing. And we had a giggle about it, and it's time. Doesn't matter how you want to put it, you know, you can laugh about it and say you can buy someone's time. Yeah, you can, but, you know, not really. That's the one thing that money cannot buy time. And that's where you've come in and you've gone, well, right, guys, I'm not saying that social media is bad, but you've taken it down a different avenue where you want to put in that discipline. How do you apply that same discipline on yourself, because you're quite busy, and now this platform, you know, you've been on 531, you've been on New FM, you've been on other platforms. How do you then use, you know, what you teach, what you preach on yourself, because you still have to do a lot of digital, like online work as well? Where does that discipline
That's a cool question. I don't think I've been asked that. That's really cool. The answer to that is the phone that I use or the laptop that I use are tools of my trade. Yeah. So I use them as a tool to email, as a tool to receive phone calls, as a tool to message another organization. And I use it just like that, just like a carpenter needs his you know, screwdriver, hammer, and all of that sort of stuff. My tools of the trade is my phone, but I leave it at that. Yeah. So that, you know, if I rewind the clock 5-10 years ago, this wasn't a tool. It was my form of escape. Yeah. And so what I mean by that is, like any other of your other traditional addictions, like, you know, smoking, drugs, alcohol, gambling, they're all forms of escape. You want to escape your reality, and so you know how bad those addictions can get. Social media is a form of addiction too. So we might not take drugs or smoke weed or whatever it is, but when you get home, you're gonna escape from your whatever you're going through, and just binge scroll through social media just to take your mind away from it. So that sits up there with your traditional addictions, because it's giving you the same sort of escape mechanism than it is others. And so that's where I sit with it. I don't use it anymore. I don't need to rely on what people, you know, how many likes I get on a post or what people say about me. Like, I don't find that validation from social media anymore. I used to, but I get it from real life connections and stuff that's based around faith and culture and my boys, family, where it should be. But I think a lot of us, especially our young ones, a lot of their character and their validation or self-esteem and self-worth is coming from the amount of likes that they get from IG or you know, all of those sort of social media platforms. So.
Because we, you know, we are all, like, I am guilty of it. I am guilty. I am number one. I swear the team are taking the photos, and I'm sitting there. Wait, take another one. Take another one. I'm like, no, wait, please. And it is. You know, it's, I think at one stage I called it fake book, you know, because this is yeah, I'd like to say this, that a lot of what I've posted is me, but a lot of what I've posted is nowadays, it's not me anymore. It's just really, that's the bottom line is it's not me. Like, am I this happy? The question is, am I this happy? I am, I'm not. Daily struggles, and you're right, because earlier I just went, that's all I do is scroll. But I'm scrolling. I don't know why I'm scrolling. It's just a habit. I'm just scrolling, but I'm actually not reading into whatever information it is that's on there. Do you have like a tip for someone like myself who needs an escape, but finds something else to do? Because everybody's like, go to the gym, there's something else. Do you have a tip for someone like myself?
And
For our viewers.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people that have suffered from drug addiction, gambling addiction. As much as we would like to think it's an easy sort of process to just go cold turkey or just not be on it so much, you have to realize that these inherent habits that we have built up over years and years and years. And so it's almost embedded in our DNA to reach for this thing, like as if we're running the country, we're like pulling this thing out, like, as if we're that important.
But I am running the country.
I know we're all important in the eyes of the Lord, but not that important to.
Man, I love how you catch it. It's like we pull it out on our phone, like we're running the country. But man, you're right.
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel, and that's the what you call it, we're seeking for that validation, or whether it's us comparing our lives to other people. And see, the funny thing is, we all know that a lot of what we see on there, they're not actually happy. It looks filtered. You spend an arm and a leg on that meal, but you're pretending like it's, that you do it every day. But we still compare our real life to this fake facade that people are putting on social media. It's just the weirdest thing that we do that.
It is weird.
Because I think in the back of our mind, we know that it's not entirely true, but we still compare how we're really feeling to something that's been, either made up or not entirely true. So that's the tough spot. So in terms of the tip, there's a lot of internal work, and this is what I had to do. I had to do it alone, because when I realized I had a problem, I went looking for help, and there was nothing really that was out there to help me. And so I went away for 1.5 years to fix myself. And a lot of it was really linked to my childhood, and just the stuff I had experienced in life. And so, talking about that would probably be valuable as well. I'm not sure if we have time for that, but those realizations about self reflected in my habits in social media. And so I guess just to point out, a realization that I had. My mum and dad, man, I love them to bits. As I get older, the more I love and appreciate them. It's funny how it works like that. Sometimes when you're a teenager, like hard feel and then but I guess what was a little bit missing, there's nothing against them, because I appreciate them, but they might be like a lot of Samoan parents, where the whole you're doing well, son, or I'm really proud of you, or I love you. So those sort of validating comments were few and far between. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that they loved me, but those comments were kind of absent from my growing up. So when social media hit and people could tell me that I was the man, you're a great father, Tony, then it just became this surge of, man, I love that feeling. And so just like any addiction, you get that hit, you get that rush, you go looking for it every other day. Because you want to feel those good vibes, that endorphins that hit your body. So it's kind of how it is.
I'm like sitting there going, because you said traditional addiction, and I didn't even think about it. I was like thinking, and I didn't really want to compare the two. But now that you've opened up about it, man, we do have like a problem, and we're just ignoring it. and that's where you come in with the workshops as well.
Yep.
Do you think that if there were workshops back in our parents' days to kind of help, because really there is no go-to when we're a parent, really. We don't have a manual. You're just kind of like, oh, it's a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a boy. And you're like, yes. Because I still struggle with time with my own children. Do you think if mum and dad had, and I'm not just talking about mum and dad, I'm talking about all of our parents, do you think if they had some kind of, I don't know, like a workshop similar to what you're running, do you think that that may help? Or
I think so.
Time,
It's just I think we have access to information, and that's cool. Being in this digital age, it's just the information about this particular topic is not well known or well spread. Like I've had dreams in the past where I wish that I had a couple pages in every Plunkett book that comes out that goes to a new mum, that there's stuff about screen time and the impact of screen time. Like the World Health Organization, their suggestion for screen time for 0 to 2 year olds is 0 hours. That's their recommendation. But you and I know, I raised my boy on devices from when he was a couple months old.
That's scary.
It is. And also, just to add to that, I spoke to a couple of principals maybe 2 weeks ago who said that they're finding now that the 5-year-olds that are turning up to school don't have the standard of fine motor skills, speech, and just all of these kind of things that should be at a certain level. And they're starting to realize now it's because a lot of these kids have clocked up hundreds and thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of hours staring at Daniel the Tiger and Paw Patrol instead of interacting with their parent. So it's just been used as a babysitter for the last 5 years. And so that's the scary stuff, and that's my...
That sounds like... And I think the thing is with that, and look, and we're not in any way suggesting that you're a bad parent, because I'm guilty of it because of work and everything.
Me too.
Do you have a solution? Do you have I didn't even realize how bad it was. Look, we're going to talk a little bit. If you have your electronic babysitter with you, just put your babysitter down, and we're going to talk a little bit about or some tips on how we can kind of, device life balance. Is that what you call it? Please? Because man, that sounds really scary that, well, I'm just going to call home and make sure that my daughter's not in front of their screen. Look, we're going to talk a little bit about that, some advice. Right up next, our sponsors as Pacific 40, Malta Samoa. Thank you so much. Without your love and support for the Pukalame, we wouldn't have this Pukalame. Thank you so much. Our ads next.
Ili tupele na may talo for voucher. Ili wala fa akaw mami te mga oy. Ili voucher. Time for so far now ili sa mayo le. Talo for voucher mo way fa sa man ni ayo niya so. Ya no fat.
Tua male au nanga remote tau sa mo service station nei tona i mata. Ma tau teu tuina lo ta vale, ma le tele o nisi o mata au nanga ese ese. Ai le ngata foile, ma tau te sia ke ina fo ila ta vale. Siapa lah yang voice wow, mau lah ucapan. Apa itu yang baik pak ulusa? Awalnya telepon, matu tu siapa lah yang voice mau lah ucapan. Mulu no posilah dia, mua, tapi lah ucapan le peaut. Mua, tapi lah telefon ni time meut tu inai lah ucapan. Malah bayang mulu. Mana tua fo, e matua I whasaina, lo tau makitapa ai no fuanga whapeni. Hota Samoa, ore mahota mo Samoa. Mato te fia e au na pea mo o Samoa. Maftaile fia mai. We'll see you again. God bless.
Welcome back, everyone. Man, it's so good to be back at work, and it's so good to have Tony Laulu joining us today. Founder and owner of Digital Discipline. If you're wondering, la ngā mere digital, la ngā mere discipline. Yeah, you know, remember back in the day when you will pull out the set of vaiko so yeah, no foi lalo. That was your form of discipline. And Tony has now come through to help not just himself, his family, but everyone that he crosses paths with to give us a solution for this addiction that we think we do not have. Well, let me tell you something. If I've got an addiction to social media and I actually have admitted that I just scroll like this, without even reading the content, you're addicted. You're addicted, That's an addiction, eh? Is it?
Yeah.
Am I addicted?
It's there or thereabouts.
Tell me no.
Yeah.
No. Is that an addiction, what I just told you?
If you got no control over it and you feel like the urge is stronger than your self-control, then yeah, that's pretty much an addiction. That you got no you got no control over it.
Yeah, I don't have control. I think some nights I sit up and scroll through that phone till about 3 o'clock sometimes in the morning, and it's the same thing. I think Facebook needs to put in a little tab there that once you've already refreshed, that's it.
It's
right?
not in their best interest to do that.
No, okay.
They want you scrolling down this bottomless pit.
Before we went into an ad break, we were talking a little bit about our infants and our babysitter. This is everyone's favourite babysitter, and I'm not having a go at any of the mums and the parents who probably get off out there for ilko. Oh, here we go, spelling for ingale, perfect. No. We're not here to judge. We're just here to bring to light a solution to help us all, because I'm guilty. So, and I want to break the cycle, because I remember back in the day when my family and I would enjoy cricket on the dead end street. And you know what? My fond memory is, watch out the car! My kids can't do that. My kids, because I fear for their life, I'm like, no, don't go, close the gate, lock it. Man, but I think I was 7 and I was running across the road playing some pretty crazy game. We don't do that with our kids nowadays. You've given me the information, 0 hours for 0 to 2. What can you... let's be honest, I already know what to do. Read a book, get them outside. There's colouring book activities and stuff that we can do. But for someone who is struggling, can you give us some advice? Can you give our viewers advice? And if you've got any questions, send them through.
I think you mentioned part of it. Part of the solution is we're fortunate enough to remember those times, and you know, for a lot of us, it's still a vivid you know, memory in our childhood, and so remembering those things, you know, should spark some you know, some actions in terms of what can I do with my kids, and further from that is. When you do remember that, and the thing with having a device, so I think inherently for a lot of us, you know, maybe humans in general, we love to sit in comfort, and so because the device has added itself to the family unit, it's before it was just you just sit in the sitting room and you guys end up finding something to do. And I've always encouraged parents, like, you watch, if you leave your kids for half an hour, not unattended, but if you leave them, they're not going to just sit there. They will find something to do. And it's even better if you have things for them to do, whether it's, I don't know, colouring in sheets, or you got a few toys, or you say, this is the amount of pages I want you to read in this book, or I want you to go, like during the lockdown, I got my boys to count how many wooden panels there are on our fence. It's a corner house. And I said, count how many panels there are out there, how many screws, because there's screws to... they enjoyed it. I thought it was the dumbest thing, but I was like, I'm going to find something for you guys to do. They went, because I went and counted it first. They came back, oh, there's 100 and something. I was like, yeah, you see, go count again. And they're out there for another 20 minutes. I was like, no, you count even the half ones, that's still a post. They're like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, go and do it again. And that's the stuff that I'm doing now for them. So now they never ask for a device. Now and then, my older son might want to go on his Chromebook, but he knows there's a limit. And as soon as I say, pack that thing up, close it straight away. And so we're fortunate that we have those memories, but if we don't address it now, and our kids grow up with this digital, these digital devices in their hand, the majority of the day, then they won't know any better. So when they raise their kids, that's the only thing they're going to know. I'm scared because this, the digital world has, we are the pioneers of it. It wasn't a lifestyle that my mum and dad had. I never saw my mum and dad on their, playing on their phone. And so what I'm afraid of is that we are going to start pioneering this social media or device addiction. So whenever the alcohol hit the islands or any other sort of addiction, we look around in some of our families and maybe, maybe in our own families, maybe a couple of generations ago, the old man started drinking. Now everybody drinks. And it's just this inherent habit or addiction, or whether it's positive or negative, it depends on how you look at it. But now that's that's just part and parcel of your family.
I think the Tolo family sometimes. I'm just not, I'm not outing you guys. I'm just saying which one of you guys did this, and then. But yeah, you're right. It is, we read a lot about how to do this and this and this, but I think you're right. We know the solution. We just have to kind of put it in action. You've got a workshop that you run, and I read that you spoke to a bilingual unit, a school. That was awesome. I loved that, and our Samoan community, our Samoan parents, were actually quite shocked that you straight to the point. You went straight to the point and you hit them hard with some hard facts about our time and social media and how it will slowly destroy our families. And they were shocked that someone like yourself pretty much said, well, here you go, guys. How did you feel about that because they were actually quite open-minded about it, right? As well, or?
I think for the most part, when I do speak to adults, the interesting thing is most of the time, they already know. They just haven't had someone talk to them about it or address it. And just kind of like when we grow up, if you feel like you can get away with it once, you're just going to keep doing it until someone says that behavior there needs to be adjusted a little bit, and again, like you've said, I'm not on any anti-social media campaign. I love technology and the positives that come out of it, especially like things like this channel. But like I said earlier as well, if all we're doing is consuming, let's take the politics for example. I've been at my mom's house a few times a week, especially during the height of it, and she would say that the type of language that's being used on there and the hate and this is the society of the online world now, and I bet half of those people wouldn't say it in person, but because online, people seem to grow a cape and feel like they have got superpowers to say whatever they feel like. It gets really, really, really toxic.
Yeah, it does.
And so it's not until people attend a workshop and we talk about these uncomfortable sort of topics about people's behavior online, then they start to internalize it. But see, a lot of my workshops is not just merely awareness, because there's a lot of different movements that talk about just raising awareness, but what's really important in my workshops is that they walk away with some solutions, some practical things that they can do to adjust the screen time in their home, to be more mindful about, look, your 11 or 12-year-old actually might be on social media. They might not tell you, but they are. And they've seen it all. They've seen catfishing. They've seen, all sorts of inappropriate content. And the thing is with our parents, and this is the separation from the generation behind us, is my parents were probably more worried that I was going to run away or be a street kid or just run amok. And so their form of safety was for me to be home. Now our kids are home, but they're not safe online.
No, they're not.
So they're safe. She might be cool in her bedroom and she's told you that she's doing her homework, but really need to be a bit more thorough, not in a detective sort of way, but making sure that she's okay, she's safe, and she knows what or he or she, because when they know that we don't know, they'll play off our ignorance, and even when they do come across something uncomfortable, just like us, when we think, we want to share it, we'll be like, nah, mum and dad won't understand. So we need to be really in the know about what's going on in this digital world, so that we can make informed decisions within our family unit.
Well, if I bear, we're going to throw up some photos while of the school that Tony went to, just help raise awareness awa ia le kako ke le whongi devices. We don't often, admit that we are using this as, a babysitting tool, and yes, it does help, and Tony and I are not in any way suggesting that you're a bad parent, so please don't, and we're not saying that, all we're saying is that Tony is here to help with solutions, because, he's not trying to be part of the problem. He wants to be the solution to help, because let's be honest, man, if we just let it go, it's going to become a problem. And I'm going to use my kids for an example, because I don't want to offend anyone, so I'll just use my own kids. This is just an example just on my kids that I've observed with the girls. So I have 3 children. I have my older 2, Trin, she's 13, turning 14. Lily's 9, I think 10. Sorry, Lily, Trinity. And then I have my 1-year-old. So Trin was quite, we were there 24/7. We're very active with her. She was talking before she was 1. She was counting. So that was 13, 14 years ago, when we were very, very active. Social media wasn't even that. I mean, it was, but not as, And then you have Lily as well, still no device. Same thing. She was talking, counting at a very, very young age. Clever girls, Again, it was all time invested. Lily, not so much. She's the middle child. And then we have our little baby, Talia, and she's our social media baba. So from time to time, she is a very clever girl. She is clued on, but she doesn't, she's saying the normal, the basics, but compared to my other 2, where we invested so much time into them, with attention, counting, I'm not in any way saying that Talia's, she's very clever. She has her own, kind of path, and she's quite bossy, but she does get a lot of screen time as well. Not so much at home, because I don't give her my phone, but from time to time, she does have a lot of screen time. So for our parents that are out there, if you want some advice, please head over to Digital Discipline. Tony will be able to help you. Tony, do you have any information about your workshop or?
Yeah, it's just by request. I'm running some free ones out in Mangere with Moana Research coming up, so check on their Facebook page for updates on that. But other than that, you can find me, ironically, on social media.
On social media.
So just search Digital Discipline, and you'll be able to find me there.
Man, well, I know I promised that we were going to talk a little bit about the book, but you know what? I'm so sorry, Tony. We're going to have to, because this is a bilingual book that you've written as well, and I can see that it's a dedication to the boys that you love and adore. Can you just give us a little bit of information about the book, and then we're going to have to wrap up. But tell our viewers where we can purchase the book, because this is pretty cool that it's both English and Samoa. So, babysitting that's not a device, the perfect solution right here.
Cool.
Tell us a little bit about your book.
Just 2 books. Laulu Samoa, and this one is about my 2 boys, Sakali and Limalie. I guess one awesome part about these 2 books is that I was really heavy on the representation of our people. If I look at the libraries at our Pacific schools, and even at home, a lot of the stories there are about, the cow jumped over the moon, and just people that aren't relatable, and so just trying to, create a resource for them. So you can find these books on chiefbookseries.com. And they also got social media links for that, which is just searching Chief Book Series. But I guess we'll just have to link up another time and talk about the books.
Don't worry, I'm gonna book a time right now to talk a little bit about the book, because this is important, because I've seen photos of the kids. It's always nice to have a book in school, resources where you can read it and be like, they're just like me, and be inspired and stay inspired. Before you go, Tony, do you have an encouraging message for all of our viewers?
Back yourself.
Back yourself.
They say, I don't know if this is a real quote, but I may have heard it in one of the raps that I listen to. But I think in terms of business or a dream, quote goes, it's always, people always like the idea of starting a business till it's time to start a business. And so, with Digital Discipline and these books, first, it was all glory to God, really. I got no business writing a book, but, He provided the resource to be able to do it. And so, I was just able to leverage the little bit of faith that I had and strength to be able to do this, and also run programs like Digital Discipline, because there's Pacific people, and as a Samoan, we're really heavy on service, and so that's all I'm trying to do and achieve, and leave a legacy for my boys and make my family and village proud. And and just like any other Samoan guy, just trying to get it right.
Tony, it's been an absolute honour having you here. I'm so gutted that we couldn't talk a little bit more about the book, but I'm going to book the time. If you need any digital solution, help with the discipline, you know where to go. We'll share the link down below. Don't forget to like, love, and share the page. Tomorrow we will be at PolyX, so if you're not doing anything,
I'll be there.
You're going to be there?
I will come.
Come through to PolyX and sell your books over there as well. PolyX tomorrow. Thank you to our sponsors, Pacific 40, Malta Samoa, and of course, the Pacific Business Hub. For all of your digital solutions, you know where to go. Blue Wave, Blue Wave. Thanks so much. God bless everyone. See you later.
Laulu whailau whaakau. Ili tupele na mai li talo whawaucha. Ila wana whaakau maa mea te mga oai. Ili voucher. Tai fu isi o whanau li lapsi mai o le. talofa voucher uma wai whatau mane ai alea so. Ia lo fat.
Tau tua mara au nanga mo tau sa mo service station nei tona i matu. Ma tau te utuina lo ta vale, ma le tele onisi o matu au nanga i sesi. Ai le ngata foi le, ma tau te sea ke ina fo i lo ta vale. Siapa lah yang voice wow, mau lah ucapan. Apa itu yang baik Pak Ulusa? Awalnya telepon, matu siapa lah yang voice mau lah ucapan. Mulu no posible fia, mua, tapi lah ucapan lepas itu. Mua, tapi lah telepon ni time itu ini lah ucapan. Mana bayang mulu, mana tua fu. E matua I whaasaina, lo tau makitapa ai no fuanga whapengi. Hota Samoa, ore maota mo Samoa. Mato te fia e au auna pia mo o Samoa. Maftaile fia mai, we'll see you again. God bless.